Today's video, we get to dive into a massive PSA reveal that I just got back that is entirely Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I really hope you enjoy and see some new cards that maybe you have never seen before, and let's hope for some really good grades here. So as already mentioned in the intro, ton of awesome cards to go through here today, but I just want to introduce myself. If you are new here, my name is Austin. I go by Carlson Cards on YouTube and Instagram, that sort of thing. So this channel, I put out a podcast every Monday where I interview a longtime collector. I try to get out one more video throughout the week that's either a collection update. I collect mostly football cards, that sort of thing, or a grading reveal. So in this case, we have our grading reveal for the week. And I appreciate the patience for those of you that have watched a long time. It's been a while since we've had a reveal. Really just have not gotten any back. That $15 special, I sent the orders off towards the middle of the month. Really took a long time to get back. So this is one of the first orders I'm getting back from that special. But I hope you enjoy this video. We have a lot of really cool cards. I'm going to try to touch on a ton of tips, that I can share from my grading experience here and with other orders. That's usually typically when I try to do these videos. I want to make sure they're really good value add for you guys and worth the time to click on and watch every time. So if you enjoy, let's dive into some really, really awesome cards. So first one, I had to shuffle a really neat one on top, of course, just to warm us up here. Michael Jordan, UD Hardcourt, Heart of a Champion, North Carolina jersey, PSA 10. Not really super aware what this set was. Obviously, like a lot of these cards, I find them on eBay or ComC, or like in this case, happen to just be at a card show and see some raw Jordans, and I dig through and pull out anything that I haven't seen before that looks kind of, either short printed or just a nice shape that could maybe do good in a bulk grading order like this one. So that fit the boat for that card. Really, really neat. Again, not sure the pop or anything like that, but most of the cards in here, just for your awareness, you can typically assume they were bought for between maybe $5 to $15, somewhere in that range, typically probably less. And a 9 like this, you're typically looking probably between $20 to $35, maybe $40. And then a 10 for the typical card in this order is going to be between probably $60 to $100. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to throw every single price in the corner like I do in some of my reveals. I just don't have the time. But I'll give you an awareness as we dive in here on what's a win and what is kind of maybe we see a couple 6s and 7s that are like, crap, darn it, shouldn't have sent that card. Another one here, Kobe, nice 10. I'll also get my piles going, 10s, 9s, 8s, that sort of thing. Then we have here the Bowman 48, Kobe Bryant. I always thought this set was pretty cool. Not overly rare. A lot of these cards in here are going to be typically more of a base card, right? This is a bulk order, so it's only $15 for grading. But there are some short printing cards in here for sure, and sets that hopefully you haven't seen before, which makes these videos pretty fun because, again, you get to see cards that you've never seen. That's what I always liked watching in these grading reveals. Another one, Fleer Hot Prospects, Jordan, and then an SP Authentic here for Kobe out of 2000. So again, like this one, typically you're probably looking at a $2 to $3 card, if that, maybe even a little less. A 10, for set collectors or Kobe collectors, this might be anything from $40 to $60, something like that. So it's a card that, if it looks nice, to me, really makes sense in this $15 bulk grading, and that was the point of this. And then you will have cards like, the next couple here where I found them and they're just, again, like I mentioned with that Jordan away, just sets that I've never seen before. This is not a set that I had seen before. I think the pop, is closer to 20 or 30 versus with these SP Authentics, you're looking at a couple hundred. So neat, cool card here that's, again, probably in the higher range of that price point. We have a Kobe Bryant Special Forces insert out of SP Authentic, I believe. Yeah, this is an insert. Really cool. I like the shine on this one. Just really, really nice. Again, nice, affordable, cool Kobe. And that's, obviously the point of these grading reveals. If you see my channel before, I try to be really, really transparent. So I like I mentioned kind of in the intro here, I collect a ton of football cards that really go for players that I loved watching growing up. For me, that was, right, Randy Moss, Kelvin Johnson, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, those kind of guys. And what I collect is typically, cards probably in that $200 to $500 range. I like cards that are short printed, especially serial numbered sets that are very hard to find that I can't replace in high grade. That's kind of what I collect. And then on the side, I love grading. So, while I don't collect basketball, I kind of grade a little bit of everything. I've always enjoyed it as a way to learn new sets, learn a little bit more about cards, take the time to prep them. And then hopefully at the end of the day, again, you're providing value to somebody. If I'm finding these cards at card shows, putting the time in, making sure they're clean, prepping them for PSA, sending them. This takes a lot of time, as you can imagine. At the end of the day, somebody, hopefully is hooked up with a really neat card. And then for myself, I can take any money, that I sell on my eBay store and kind of convert that over to my collection. That's always been my passion here with this channel and what I've always tried to share. And so if that resonates, that's why, again, I hope this video is helpful, because I remember watching videos when I first got in, and that kind of really helped me, was understanding the logic of how some of these people grow really, really big collections of really rare cards that they love, that don't have an infinite bankroll. They're not, making $300,000 a year, because I definitely am not. But this, grading and then throwing on the eBay store and then growing a collection that way has been a really, really fun and satisfying way for me to grow a collection, essentially. Really cool one here. Again, just want to pause. Just awesome cards. I'll try to comment on any that really stand out to me. This is one I thought was really neat when I picked it up. I thought it was really clean. I do like cards that typically have like a white back. They just tend to grade better, right? You're not seeing corner or edge whitening. This one did have, kind of a blacker side here, so I wasn't really sure. Sometimes you get just that little bit of white. This one doesn't have it, but that can drive like an 8 or 7 sometimes even. So this one's just a nice 10 again, probably on the higher end of, the grand scheme of what cards are in here, just being an insert, being Kobe, kind of short printed, but just a really, really neat card. Another one that I just want to throw a note in on here. This one, again, I just came across, had never seen. Obviously, non-playing years, North Carolina jersey, whatever. You can find a million ways you don't like this card. That's fine. But to me, I really thought it was neat, right? 2010 Upper Deck National Convention. Obviously, 15 years ago, almost at this point. Michael Jordan, PSA 10. I believe when I looked this up, the pop was only like, 7 or something. So it's just crazy to me that there's still Jordans out there that are not in the 20s or 30s at a minimum in PSA 10. So it's obviously a really, really neat card there. Kobe game used here. And I just want to go back to kind of what I was talking about a second ago there. So like I mentioned, this video and, these grading reveals, what I've always tried to do, in my passion that I've really enjoyed is growing an eBay store on the side. I know some people are like pure collectors. They don't enjoy selling everything. I'd say I'm a little bit of both. I like collecting, and then I like I just showed and mentioned here, I like grading and selling cards as well. And hopefully hooking people up with cards that they want for their collection. Again, cards like this and these orders are a great way for me, and I've always tried to do it this way when I grow my eBay store, is to keep cards in there that, are affordable for people. Because I remember when I got in the hobby, what I really wanted was a Kobe card that was a PSA 10 for $50. And there was just not a lot of options out there. So that's why, with these grading reveals and my channel here and my eBay store, that's always been the goal, is to grade just really neat, cool inserts or short printed cards here for these great players that aren't going to break the bank for people. So I have establish a store that I've really enjoyed growing, where you can find a PSA 9 for $30 with the best offer on. You can find a PSA 10s for these great players. You can combine shipping, kind of making the store that I wish was out there when I first started. And I don't say any of this in the sense of like, oh, go check out all my cards and go buy them. It's more so, again, just to be really transparent with what I do with these cards, because I feel like there's not a ton of channels out there that explain what they do. You see people grade 300 cards. Well, where do those go? What do they do with them? They don't keep all of them, clearly. So that's why I always try to share that. Kind of a neat one here, Michael Jordan, World of Sports. Not sure, again, where this set comes from, anything like that. But, again, just picked it up real cheap. Just cool card that obviously had never seen before, so grabbed it. And then this one we did push through. These two right here, just want to highlight quick, is the Court Kings and Skilled Artists. So again, finding these inserts that, to me, you just don't see. I've never seen these before. They look cool. They look clean. They're not the easiest grades, right? You see some color in the back. But to hit a 10 here, it's just really, really fun with these orders. You never know how these grades are going to come in when you send them. And to me here so far, doing really well. Our 10s are probably, close to 50% here, which is more than I can ever expect of cards of this caliber. These typical orders of these kind of cards that I send, I'd imagine I probably get close to, anywhere from between 30 to 50% 10s. Really just depends how good I did prepping them and how lenient I was. I would say this order I was a little more lenient, just knowing it was only $15. If anything could, I think, get a 9, I sent it. Sometimes they end up getting an 8, obviously, but I think sometimes some of these ones that I thought were 9s are getting 10s here, which is really nice to see. Kobe Cream of the Crop here, Fleer Hot Prospects. Again, just a neat little insert. Nothing super fancy, but a cool card for Kobe. Got a Fleer Kobe here, PSA 10. I'm really happy, again, seeing all these 10s, because sometimes, again, I'd imagine you send these orders and you might just do horrible. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. Air Force One, Fleer Triple Crown. A really neat one. Again, I just never seen, but cool. I like the name convention too, like the Air Force One instead of, obviously like the Air Force One of the U.S. government. You have that air, which I don't even know, honestly. What does air mean? I guess it's like inheritance or something. I would assume, like I always hear like heir to the throne. So that's probably what that means, but pretty cool card there. And actually, that's a good point. So I have 2 of them back to back. This order shuffled pretty strongly, but actually you'll see another, just like I said, the 2006 Fleer here, or 2008 Fleer, another one here. I do try with these orders when I'm sending so many cards, I try to send duplicates because it just makes it so much easier to go through. You prep 3 of the same. It's pretty clear to me then which is the better copy out of the 3. Try to put that one in the back, put the worst condition in front. So I don't know if I was right on this one. Let's see. Yep, so I had the PSA apparently 6. I thought that was an 8, so that's a 6. And I got the 10 in the back. So that's kind of how I go. So I think this one's still a 9, which obviously it wasn't. It was a flop here. I put this one in front of what I think would be a 10. It's just something I've always done. I don't know if it really works. If you want to try it, feel free. Be my guest. If it works for you, that's even better. That's awesome. Really cool one here, Kobe Flight Team, nice dunk. And I've enjoyed grading this card. I've never hit a 10, but anytime I find one at a card show or cheap online, I do pick it up just because I'm waiting for that one time I hit the 10, basically. Next, we have a cool Star Quest Kobe. This set's pretty neat. I never really knew how it works, but I've kind of realized a little more after I've graded a couple. So this is the Uncommon, which is the copper. Obviously, it seems to me a very tough set to grade with like a foil finish. Obviously, hit a 10 here, so it's got to be a pretty nice hit. So really cool with that one. I know we have a few more from this set coming in. And one note I guess I did want to make on the duplicates, as we see another duplicate again. I talked about this Jordan already. We have a second card here of him. What's nice is, again, when you have all of these cards to either list or prep or insert into PSA, when you have duplicates, it's so much quicker, because if you're listing on eBay as a buy it now, you can just hit quantity 3, and I don't need to make 3 listings for 3 separate cards. I just have 3 that got 9s or 3 that got 10s, and you can do all at once. I've noticed sometimes people even come in and do buy all 3 copies sometimes straight up. Or I've also noticed if somebody buys one, there's still 2 left at the end, which is kind of nice. And then they kind of seems like it pushes it out there a little better. I'll sell one, and then all of a sudden you sell, boom, 2, 3 are gone the next day. And it's just kind of surprising how they can sit for a few months and then that happens. So again, another example here, the Kobe SP Authentic got 2 10s there, which is not bad at all. Pretty nice hits on those. Kind of an interesting set. Again, not one I knew much about, but I did hit a 10 on this. I think a lot of the others got 9s, so cool one here for Jordan. And you'll notice for Jordan too, it's not like a lot of these are, unfortunately, not playing years, not super rare inserts, because you just start getting into the price points that are out of my reach. If you get into these inserts from the 90s and you're talking hundreds of dollars, not maybe 10, 15 like you get for some of this stuff. So it's just something where it's just a price point wise for me. To me, it makes more sense to buy a 06 hardcore. Again, it's not playing years, but it's also not $40. It is, $5, that sort of thing. So it just fits with this bulk grading pretty well. And then the other thing is these later years obviously grade a lot better, right? The 90s cards, I've graded a few. I'm sure you guys have graded cards. Seems like they always get slaughtered. That's just my perspective. I do not do well on them. Here's another one from that Heart of a Champion set. Cool pose, obviously getting a rebound here. He's freaking out, he's yelling. But I just thought these were really, really sharp cards, so I was excited to pick those up. A couple more Kobe's obviously coming. As you'll see, there's probably a little bit more of Kobe in here than Jordan. It just happened to be what I had been finding. I don't think I deliberately did that. It just happened to work out that way. Then we have PSA 7 here. Again, some of these, it's frustrating. Like, we all grade, I get it, right? But like, I can never tell. I'm sure it's something with a corner because these are white. It's hard to see. Something that I didn't catch on to, but obviously it's disappointing. You don't expect to get 7s, but when you're sending a couple hundred cards, you're bound to get a few. That's what I always think. Nice Kobe here, Fleer shoebox. Kind of interesting pose there with the cool dunk. We have Fleer 2020 out of Fleer Focus right there. Another one, and then another really bad grade. So I'm not sure, again, what happened here, but this is like my example. So I was mentioning the Jordan 90s cards and why I don't grade a ton of them. Number one, I can't find them clean. Number two, when you do, it feels like you just get slaughtered because of, a lot of the cards, it seems like are black or gray like this one. And ironically, again, I'm not really seeing much. It's probably a crease or something, but I think the others I did get 10s on for this one. So it's kind of funny, if I'm looking at it, it's like interesting that I miss a 6, but then the others are 9 or 10s, and I thought they were pretty similar, which is just kind of surprising. But again, I guess that's kind of the way it goes sometimes. That's why we're not professional graders, of course. So we're now getting into the realm where we're getting a lot more 9s than 10s, but hopefully we can even it out here on this last bit from this section of the video here. Kobe Bryant UD Ovation. And with how big this order is, I'll probably split this into a couple videos. But make sure to join for the others. Again, if you enjoy this one, I'll probably do one every week for the next couple weeks just because I have so many to go through. And as you'll see here, again, 7, 8, it's like, I'm missing something clearly. I'll have to do a better job of looking at it sometimes. But I don't know about you, but it's like sometimes I grade 50 cards. It's like, okay, you're just guaranteed to get a 6 or 7 sometimes. I don't know what I'm doing wrong where you get those. Honestly, sometimes it's just what happens. There we go. Finally a 10 to break that run of 9s. And then we have another 9 coming up. So this is Star Quest again. So this is a green. Again, I mentioned the orange was uncommon. The green is like I guess this is UD first edition. So I'm not sure the difference, but I think the greens are just the base or the common in this one. And then The orange, I don't think it was UD first edition. I think it was just UD. But kind of a neat, again, just card here. Just grabbing it when I see it. Whenever I see something neat that I think is a cool pose that I don't see a ton of graded copies out there of. That's usually what I've kind of been trying to grab here. And it's fun. Like I really enjoy getting these back, right? Like you're seeing just awesome card, right? It's not a $300 card. It's not even probably $100, but it's just cards that are really awesome of really, really great players. That it's just what makes this grading experience so fun, because you really don't know. You send 2 of these, you're going to get 2 8s. Well, I got 2 10s here, so it's pretty exciting and really enjoyable. And then we have another one here. This is, again, a duplicate. I think we just had a 9, so here's a 10. And what's interesting kind of too, another note is, like, I send these orders and get them back. The cards are so out of order. I think these cards are exactly as I took them out of the box. So I'm not really sure in the PSA process, like what causes that side of things. It's obviously, something's going on during their sorting where the cards get jumbled up. But that was always my fear of sending cards with myself, and then other, let's say you have a friend who's sending cards and they have the same kind of cards you're sending. I always worry they get jumbled up somehow and then they get out of order. But I'm not sure. I've never noticed that actually happening, but obviously when it ships to you, it's out of order, but at least you have the certification numbers to check out. Thought this one was pretty cool. So this is the Kobe Bryant, obviously, LA Lakers out of Turkey Red. I actually don't know the story for this set. I've seen it for football as well. I don't know what the deal is. Like, why do they call it Turkey? I'm not really sure, to be honest. So if you guys do, let me know in the description or in the comment below. I'd enjoy hearing. It's kind of cool too. So it's like the lake show, right? Obviously, so just really neat. Obviously, iconic team here. And I believe, this looks like kind of a checklist for the team there. I shouldn't say that, right? Because Chris Bosh's on here. He's obviously not Lakers. So this is some sort of checklist, but just, really, really cool card. And I had 2 of those, actually. So I did get everything up on the eBay store already. And one of those did sell right away, which is kind of neat. So it's cool. I don't have it in this order then anymore. But kind of neat when you have 2 of them. And I can still show you guys one of them, and one did already ship out, I think, actually to Asia, which is kind of surprising. I've been having a lot of interest lately, it seems like, in cards going out to, let's say, like China or something through eBay's global shipping program, which has been kind of nice. I like Fleer Ultra. This has been, a really neat set. Some years grade well, some years grade very poorly. This is a year that seems to grade well. I always try to look up using gem rate or PSA's auction prices realized or population reports, just to make sure sets grade well that I'm picking up, right? If this set, grades maybe 10% of the cards get 10s, probably not worth picking up, but that set I think is closer to 40%. So nice to be able to actually hit 10s. Obviously, same with this bazooka. You're seeing a lot of these sets I'm grabbing have white borders, like I mentioned already, and white backs. It just really seems like, to me, it helps prepping, because you're not gonna be looking for like whitening like you might see on a card like this. Whereas with those white cards, you're really just looking for surface scratches, any creases or dents, which probably are likely what happened on some of these cards. I probably just missed a few things there. So you have a Kobe Upper Realm insert. This is pretty neat again. I just like the foil here. I actually don't know if it's even foil, what you'd call this, but just the shine on some of these are really neat. And it's not cards you see every day. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, it's funny. I'm mentioning white backs, and this one has like a yellow, but clearly did well on this one. So really, really neat card. And I've always liked this set. So this is a standing O. I like the Spalding basketball. It's kind of neat. Obviously just, more or less a base card, but, a card that, again, you don't see super often. It has a pretty unique design. So it's just fun grading cards like this. I just really enjoy, hunting them down and then seeing how they do and prepping them. And obviously shooting for 10s, but it doesn't always happen that way. I have PSA 9. So you guys have to have a guess here. You're not seeing how big this pile is going, but do you think the 10s or 9s are higher? We'll have to see at the end. I have like 10 more here I'll do for this video, and then the rest I'll save for next week's video here. Another Ovation here for Kobe. And then first edition UD. Again, that set seemingly have not done well on. So here's another 9 right here. And typically, like I learned, right, like if I get a bunch of 9s on these, probably not a set I'll go back to be honest with you. You kind of figure that out as you go. So Jordan Tournament Titans, North Carolina jersey out of UD Draft. And then another one from this Jordan Chronicles set. And we have one more here. Put that up on the 9 stack. And then we have a neat one. Again, I think we already saw one of these as the UD Generations. Wizards jersey. Just happened to grab again because it's kind of later years in a set that tends to grade well. And then our final card here is the Fleer Tradition Michael Jordan, a nice PSA 10. So the PSA 9s did win today's video. Hopefully next one we can have the 10s win. We'll see. I can't recall again what the total gem rate was, but I think it was pretty close to 50%. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next week, and thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.